Her birth was different, marked by whispers and worried glances. She was bigger than the other children, and because of her body size, they mocked her, cursed her, and treated her like an outcast. They didn't know that buried within her was a power that could one day save them all. Even she didn't know. How could she, when every day she faced laughter, rejection, and shame? When the village priestess once prophesied about her greatness, she dismissed it, crushed beneath the weight of their ridicule. But life has a way of igniting hidden strength in the face of fire. So, is her size truly a curse or a hidden blessing? Sit back and witness the story of a girl who shocked an entire village. In the village of Umuaka, nestled between the thick forest of ancient trees and the red sands of forgotten footsteps, the sun rose gently each morning, as if not wanting to disturb the quiet of the gods. Birds sang their usual greetings. Smoke from clay kitchens curled lazily into the sky. Children ran barefoot, chasing chickens and laughter through the dusty paths. Life was predictable, safe, balanced, except for one thing, or rather, one person. Her name was Obianuju. She was born on a night of strange silence, when the wind refused to move and the crickets held their voices. The midwife, Maman Woke, had helped deliver over 100 babies in her lifetime, but when Obianuju slid into the world, covered in thick layers of birth, her arms trembling under the child's weight, she gasped and stepped back. This was no ordinary child. Her body was large, far larger than any baby should be. Her skin was dark and dense, with folds like soft hills, and her cheeks sat like gourds on either side of her face. Her cries rumbled like distant thunder. Her mother, Adaise, a quiet woman who'd waited 7 long years to conceive, took one look at her daughter and smiled through tears. "She is a blessing," she whispered, though deep inside she was afraid. As the years passed, Obianuju grew and grew fast. By the time she was 3, she was the size of a 7-year-old. By 10, she was bigger than any adult in the village. Her arms were wide as tree trunks, her thighs heavy as yam heaps during harvest. Her neck was thick, and her face was round with deep-set eyes and folds that moved like shadows when she walked. Children whispered, some ran from her, others poked fun. "Elephant girl," "mountain belly," "spirit child," but Obianuju never answered back. She simply sat alone beneath the mango tree near her mother's hut, singing softly to herself and threading old beads. Her only companions were the village goats and a slow lizard she named Chica. She had no friends, no suitors, no peace. Her mother tried her best. She adorned Obianuju with the finest beads they could afford, wrapped her in colorful wrappers, and tied her head with fabric as bright as morning. But Adaise could not fight the whispers or the looks, and so she prayed. Every night, "Chi, if this is truly my daughter, then show me her purpose. She is too different, too heavy for the world." Obianuju heard these prayers sometimes and cried quietly. Her body felt like a cage. Her tears, thick and slow, carved paths down her cheeks, soaking into the earth like hidden sorrow. She often looked up at the stars and whispered, "Why me? What did I do to deserve this?" Then one day something changed. The village of Umuaka prepared for the annual Festival of Spirits. When ancestors were honored, masks danced through firelight, and the land was cleansed of evil. People gathered palm wine, goats were slaughtered, and drummers tuned their instruments. But the biggest excitement came from news that a traveling priestess, one of great power and mystery, was visiting from the forest of Nobi. Her name was Neora, and it was said she could see into the heart of the earth. She arrived just before dusk, carried in a wooden palanquin by 2 silent boys. Her skin was wrinkled like old leather, and her eyes shone like twin moons. Her hair was braided with cowries, her fingers heavy with rings carved from bone and stone. When she entered the village square, silence fell like a dropped cloth. "Bring me your questions," she said, her voice deep and full of wind. "But know this, I do not lie, I do not flatter, I do not soften the truth." One by one, villagers came to her. Some asked about missing goats, others about marriage, childbirth, or revenge. Neora answered each with calm precision. She spoke of future floods, betrayal in marriages, and even warned the chief's son not to travel west for 7 moons. Then, as the crowd thinned, her eyes locked onto Obianuju standing at the edge, trying to hide behind a raffia basket. "You," Neora said, raising one finger. "Yes, you. The one the villagers whisper about. Come." Obianuju froze. The crowd turned. Some snorted. Others laughed quietly. But something in Neora's gaze pulled Obianuju forward. With each step, the ground trembled slightly under her weight. Her beads clacked softly, her head wrap tilted, her eyes welled with tears, but she did not look down. She stood before the priestess. "You cry every night," Neora said, never blinking. "You ask the stars, why me? But I will tell you why." Obianuju swallowed. "The gods made your body large," the priestess said, "because you were built to carry more, not just in size, but in spirit. Your body is not a curse, it is a container." The crowd murmured. "A container," someone scoffed. "For what, shame?" Neora raised her hand, and the air grew still. "When the time comes, and the fire rises, and the winds forget their way, this woman, this very woman you mock, will do what no other can." And with that she turned and walked away. No explanation, no proof, just prophecy. Days passed. The festival ended. People returned to their gossip. Some mocked more, others avoided her entirely. Obianuju went back to her quiet life sitting under the mango tree, feeding Chica the lizard and singing softly. But the prophecy hung in the air like a drum waiting to be struck. Then it happened. 3 weeks after the priestess's visit, during the peak of Harmattan, a fire broke out in the village. It began in the yam barn, where dry leaves and stored kindling made perfect fuel. The wind, wild and dry, spread the flames quickly. Huts began to crackle. Smoke blackened the sky. People screamed. Mothers ran for their children. Pots shattered. Goats scattered. In the chaos, no one noticed the 3 children trapped between 2 burning huts, crying for help, their small hands beating the cracked walls, except Obianuju.
She ran.
Faster than she'd ever moved before. Her body thundered. Beads flew. Her wrappers flapped like wings. She didn't think. She didn't hesitate. She wedged her body between the huts, blocking the flames with her massive back, using her body as a shield. Her thick skin scorched but did not break. She scooped the children one under each arm, one across her chest, and walked backward through the smoke. By the time she emerged, her eyes red, her wrapper half burned, the villagers stood in stunned silence. She collapsed in the dirt, but the children were safe. The wind died, the fire stopped, and a hush fell over Umwaka. For the first time, the people saw her, not as the oversized girl who should have been hidden, but as the one who had carried what no one else could. The next morning, the chief visited her hut. He bowed before her. "Forgive us," he said. "We were blind." Others came too, women bringing soup, men bringing cola, children singing her name in gentle melodies. The same people who once peered through fences at her in mockery now stood at her compound in awe and gratitude. She became known as the elephant who saved us. But the story didn't end there. In the months that followed, Obianuju discovered she had the gift of healing hands. Her palms, once mocked for their size, became sought after. People said when she touched aching joints or placed her hand on a fevered forehead, the pain dissolved like dew at dawn. She began to teach children the songs of the ancestors, weaving tales into music, preserving the village memory. Her hut became a place of comfort, wisdom, and warmth. Sometimes strangers would arrive from other villages to see the great woman of Umuaka. They expected to find a spirit, a goddess, a giant of legend. Instead, they found Obianuju smiling, humble, her voice soft, her laughter deep and true. And still, every night, when the moon was high and the wind gentle, she would sit outside her hut, eyes on the stars, and whisper, "Thank you for making me heavy, for now I know what I was made to carry." Moral of the story: never judge the weight of a soul by the shape of its body. The gods may wrap greatness in the most unexpected form, and those who seem burdened may be carrying the village's very salvation.